Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting with the next episode in the Alpha Wolf Sales, Marketing, Branding, and Business Strategy sessions. So these sessions are all about me sharing with you the Alpha Wolf way. Do you sort of get it? I share with you how I make decisions, how I sell, how I brand, how I market, how I conduct business strategy. So we're continuing on from yesterday's session around branding and marketing strategy. And we looked at the idea of structuring our marketing, structuring our branding to have top of mind awareness in context to the products and services that we offer. Okay, in terms of our personal brand, building facial recognition in the personal brand that is me, and if you're a faceless business and you're all about building your brand based on your logo, this probably isn't going to align for you because you don't see the value in having a front runner, a brand identifier within your business. So this is for the 1% performers that aren't afraid to stand in the cannon fire. Do you sort of get it? When I build the brand around myself, I become the target for all scrutiny. But also being said, I become the leverage for all recognition. So why do we build, just to begin with, why do we build the brand around our identity of who we are? Well, our company should not have different values to who we are. Do you sort of get it? If your company says you value high quality and then in your life all you do is buy cheap share, misalignment. You're never going to truly understand it. Do you sort of get it? If you say that you're targeting people who are like you and you're really trying to target someone who's completely different to you, misalignment, you can't communicate to them unless you create the illusion or a false mask of a pretentious person of who you think everyone wants you to be. These sessions are all about understanding authentic sales, authentic marketing, authentic branding, authentic business strategy. I don't use manipulative tactics because manipulative tactics go against my personal core value of not manipulating motherfuckers. It's pretty simple. So we just understand the reason we're doing this is because I am the best advocate for me. I can tell people every aspect about myself that other people can't. Do you sort of get it? The most leverageable aspect of my business is me because unlike my products and services, which I know a lot about, I have spent my entire life with me. I know everything about me. So it's important to realize when we're creating these brands in authenticity, who I was yesterday is not who I am today. Should I want to create my brand on high quality, then I can become someone of high quality. Should I want my brand to be built on high worth, I can become someone who is high worth. I'm not my past. Do you sort of get it? But my past actions will determine who I am based on habitual behavioral patterns. Do you sort of get it? So, for example, I don't say that I believe in an unrelenting effort and then do one post a day. It doesn't work like that. That's hypocrisy, inaccuracy. Do you sort of get it? So, what we're doing in marketing and branding, especially, we are creating a cohesive narrative of who I am, who the brand is. Now, in understanding this, okay, who is the maiden sort of presence that your customer is going to align with? Do you sort of get it? So if I have a sales team of 5 to 10 people, well, we're not just building my brand, are we? We're not building my brand and then having faceless people contact the clients. No, we are building the brands of all who engage with the clients. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, if you've got salespeople, like, we want to align their personal brand under our company brand. Does this make sense? So it's not about me going out there and saying, you have to be this kind of person. It's about creating a cohesive narrative of who is this person. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, like you're not hiring people who lie, cheat, and steal, and then going and having them pretend to be an honest person. That would just be manipulation. That would be illusions. That would be lying. Do you sort of get it? So what we want to do is we want to instill the company values, the corporate values, the business values within each of the employees and have them reflect that within their social media. So it doesn't have to be their personal social media. If they want to go out on the weekends and get blackout drunk and show photos of them destroying property, well, that's not a good branding image. So we would create an account for them that is under the brand. Do you sort of get it? I'm JB at Alpha Wolf Consultant. I cease to just be Justin Brunessi. Do you sort of get it? Everything I do as JB from Alpha Wolf Consulting. Now, for an entrepreneur or a business owner, it's pretty easy to do this because your business is your life. Do you sort of get it? For a staff member, it's a bit harder to do this because they compartmentalize between what they do for a job and what they do within their life. So what we're doing is creating cohesive sort of accounts that align to the company values. So just think about that in terms of, let's say you're, Dave from, plumbing XYZ. Well, we're not going to have a whole bunch of stuff, with, negative connotations in it. We're not going to be putting up racist posts. We're not going to be putting up sexist posts. We're not going to be putting up drugs on our account. Do you sort of get it? We're not putting up a photo of a mirror with fucking a cocaine line on it. That wouldn't be good. So we just understand when we're creating the account to represent the business as me, as Dave from XYZ Plumbing, then all of the branding is going to be on point towards what we're doing. Plumbing. Do you sort of get it? We can engage in communities, we can engage with content that is aligned to it, but we want to have that forethought, that strategy, the strategic view that this representation creates a perception. Okay, this account represents a perception of who I am in my professional life. Do you sort of get it? But for an entrepreneur or business owner, we want to go a step further and we want to create our personal, like who we are as a person to reflect what we do, the company, the business, our products or services, because we are directly invested into it. So we just understand that, okay? For staff members, it might be wiser to have a separate account that they invest into and build up. And you think about it like this. Imagine you've got 5 sales staff, right? And they're promoting your products and services. Today, they might not have following. Tomorrow, they might not have following. But at a certain point in time, the compound results of having 5 different people promoting different products and services will exponentially grow the organic reach of your business. So we just understand that. We're not trying to change people and say, you have to be this kind of person, but it's like in business or in the business, it's like, you know, You're not on the phone to a client talking about going out and spending 3 grand last weekend on cocaine and hookers. You're just not doing that. Do you sort of get it? It's not the right approach. So we just understand that it's not about me creating an illusion and pretending to be someone who I'm not, but it's about me creating an authentic voice of who I am within the business. Okay. So it's a little bit more complex when we're talking about having sub accounts under your business. But if that's the case, we start with your account as the business owner or as, you know, the entrepreneur, because this is directed more at business owners and entrepreneurs than corporate, because corporate has too much bullshit regulations about pretending to be someone that they're not. Everyone pretends to be this corporate, polite, and all of that. That's not the point. Who are we talking to? If I'm Dave from XYZ Plumbing, who am I talking to? I'm talking to other plumbers. I'm talking to people that get plumbing work done. Do you sort of get it? So, like, what is a congruent, like, expectation for a client of what a plumber looks like? Is it someone in a suit? Is it someone who, tries to talk as politically correct? Do you sort of get it? We're creating an authentic feeling of a brand. And then when we introduce sub brands under ours, so David XYZ Plumbing might be the owner of XYZ Plumbing, and he might have three other plumbers. Those brands are authentic representations of XYZ Plumbing, but they're also representations of the individuals. So what we start to understand is branding is more than just the pictures. Branding is the language I use, how I speak. Branding is who I speak to. Do you sort of get it? So the reason we're introducing sub accounts under it isn't for a unified, everyone says the same thing. It's so that people can say the same thing in different ways to appeal to different segments of the overall audience. Phil at XYZ Plumbing might attract elderly ladies and elderly clients because he might speak directly to them better than Joe from XYZ Plumbing, who's an 18-year-old who's able to speak to a younger audience. Do you sort of get it? So we're not saying when we're introducing sub accounts that we're just handing out the reins and saying, you do whatever you think is the smartest move. No, we have a guideline for how we want to present ourselves. But also in saying that, we don't want to create a fragile brand that's afraid, like corporate brands, to step outside of the expectation of who they're meant to be. Do you sort of get it? So we want to have a robust brand. So things like language and all of that, for me, I don't give a fuck if I say fuck because I say fuck in my life a lot. Do you sort of get it? If a client or a potential buyer can't handle me swearing, they're not going to be able to handle me in real life. So we don't want to be creating these false perceptions of who we think people want us to be. We want to create authentic representations of us that are aligned to strategic and branding and marketing goals. Do you sort of get it? So I'm not up here putting videos of last weekend's session of going out and getting on the piss at, XYZ pub, me going out there and putting straws up my nose and all of that. It's irrelevant. It's off brand. It's not on there. So everything would be around the service or the product that you're selling. Do you sort of get it? What you're promoting for the business. Everything's related to the business in these accounts. So, like, you'll be able to see for 2 to 4 years, all I do is talk about the business. Do you sort of get it? Like, I don't really talk about anything that's external to my business because what I'm promoting is my business. Like, you sort of get it? So I'm not going out putting up photos of me drinking last weekend because I don't drink. I just work in the business. You sort of get it? So we just understand that when we're creating these accounts, it's about perception. But what we also want to do, and the reason we do personal accounts and not business pages, is we want to have friends. We want to be able to talk directly to people. We want to be able to communicate with people. A business page can't communicate with anyone who hasn't directly messaged them. Do you sort of get it? Personal pages allow us to remove limitations that the corporate set. Do you sort of get it? Because the corporate structure want to do everything through paid advertisements. And for entrepreneurs and small businesses, paid advertisements, while they're highly effective when you understand your ideal buyer and your target market, it's costly. So what we're talking about is how do we utilize personal branding, marketing, sales to generate organic reach and organic traffic and organically spread the word of the business. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, if we continue on with XYZ Plumbing as the example, Joe, the 18-year-old from XYZ Plumbing, well, maybe he's, sharing and promoting on the tools and then promoting business services. Maybe he's a bit more into that meme culture, and maybe we're not looking to get direct sales from him. Maybe we're looking to attract ideal, you know, talent, young people to work for you. Like, what is the purpose of the marketing, of the branding? What is the purpose of the communication? Because in branding, the currency of branding and marketing is communication. It's the opportunity to speak. Do you sort of get it? So we got to get out of these 2D mindsets of I'm just here to sell a product. I'm just here to talk about a product. And we expand it out to I'm here to build my brand, to become recognized for the products and services that I do, to align to different segments of the audience and population by having multiple different messaging running simultaneously. Like, do you sort of get it? We're not expecting Joe, the 18-year-old, to align to a mature age audience because they'll look at him and just say, you're a young kid. Do you sort of get it? Whereas Phil, and let's say Phil's a 50-year-old plumber who's been in the industry for 30 years since he was 20, he's going to align at a much higher rate to older or more mature age audiences because of the perception. They perceive him to be more of an expert than Joe, the 18-year-old. Do you sort of get it? So what we're doing is we're creating different segments and we're creating the marketing and the branding to reflect them and to amplify what we do. You sort of get it? We can have one account that's promoting, and it'll reach a certain segment of the audience. Or we can have 5 accounts that are promoting, that are going to reach a much wider variety of the audience because they don't all have to be, this totalitarian, authoritarian regime of we can only speak in a certain way. Do you sort of get it? We have guidelines on how we speak to the audience, how we want to be perceived, and we understand our perception. So, like, for example, I want to be perceived as a master by the top 1%, not by the 99%. So I don't talk about what the 99% want because the 99% want everything for free and they want to do nothing about it. They just want me to give them free leads, give them free clients, give them a free you know, a free account that's got 100,000 people that are their ideal buyer without them having to even tell me who their ideal buyer is, because magically their ideal buyer just showed up without them having to do the fucking work. Do you sort of get it? I want the people who are going to put in the work to become the best and invest into themselves. So that's who I talk to. That's what I talk about. Do you sort of get it? I'm not never off brand talking about short-term manipulative strategies to try and win new clients or convince. Do you sort of get it? So like we just understand sales and marketing. What are they? Communicating at the highest level. Do you sort of get it? Sales is direct communication. Marketing is broad communication. Marketing attracts people in. Sales educates them. Do you sort of get it? Now, 99% of people in sales and marketing will try and say marketing is about attention and sales is about convincing and closing. If you need to convince to close, you're not a sales agent, or you're not a master at sales, you're an amateur at sales. A master at sales doesn't convince, they convey. Understand that. An expert, a master, a high level achiever does not have to convince you of who they are. They are that person. It's through the presence, it's through the tonality of their voice, it's through how they enunciate. Do you sort of get it? Understand it. Because too many people are believing the 99% that just go around convincing people, that just go around trying to get stupid attention. Do you sort of get it? Very important to understand this, because as we dive deeper into this, you will start to understand the illusions of the 99%, because it's all just a scam. Do you sort of get it? If I limit the information I tell you to create a perception that you need me for to find out the information, what am I doing? I am manipulating you. Okay. So we just understand we want to be 5-dimensional, not 2-dimensional. So what is the difference between 5-dimension and 2-dimension? Well, 2-dimensional would just be having pictures of products and services and saying, buy my product. Or 2-dimensional would be competing on price opposed to competing on quality. Do you sort of get it? But we don't have to just be limited to competing on quality. When we get into the 5 dimensions of business, of life, okay, we are now able to introduce different things like, for example, competing on conditioning. You sort of get it? Competing on cognitive distance, competing on cognitive reconditioning. What are these things? Like, I create a specific narrative that is counter to the 99% to break the illusion that the 99% hold over the majority. Do you sort of get it? The 99% say you should always try and do mass marketing, marketing to the masses. That's an illusion. You want to be highly niched in your marketing, because if 99% of people are marketing to the mass, well, what's going to be more expensive? Marketing to a specific segment of the population, or marketing to the masses where everyone is marketing to the masses, which drives up price and competition? Like, do you sort of get it? So we just understand, like, when we're doing this, like, there are many different things that we are trying to do. In our marketing and branding, we're trying to build trust. We're trying to break false narratives. We're trying to recondition buyers to understand what the true value is. If we're XYZ plumbing and we're competing on quality over price, then we're working simultaneously within promoting our brand, promoting our quality, promoting our sort of products and services to now also running a simultaneous campaign to discredit the cheap option, to discredit those who cut corners, to showcase workmanship over price. We don't want to be lowering price and getting a shit workmanship done, i.e., we don't want to be getting someone who goes to do a replacement of piping and replaces it with the wrong kind of piping, and then in 3 weeks that piping breaks. Do you sort of get it? We don't want someone who cuts corners and goes to fix a leak, and then the leak is never fixed, and the client's out again and again and again. So we're running multiple different narratives for different things, because the overarching goal of our marketing and branding is to build trust, to build authority, to build recognition within the industry and marketplace. Okay. It's to create the narrative or direction we want clients to be thinking about or focused on. Okay. We want to be building authenticity, so unreplicatableness, where people can't just come in and copy you, because for them to copy you authentically, they have to share your values. That's why our company values are the most important aspect of the company. But for the 99%, company values are just words on a wall. When I talk about mastery, what I say is that mastery isn't just learning something and being good at it. Mastery is dedicating 10 to 20,000 hours to it. So, like, just understand branding. 10 to 20,000 hours I have dedicated to branding through understanding, learning, researching, through observing, analyzing, through doing. Do you sort of get it? So I'm going to break down my branding and marketing strategy in more detail, okay? And we're not going to talk about Joe Blow over at XYZ Plumbing, but we're going to talk about what I'm actually doing and why I'm doing it. So an important thing to realize is many people in business are going to tell you about AI and the tool, like the usefulness of AI. AI is not bad. AI is quite good, but don't get AI to do the work for you. It'll make you lazy and it'll make you very, very basic. Because if 99% of people are leveraging AI to do everything for them, they are never going to be unique, because AI thinks in a very specific way. Do you sort of get it? They'll all say that it's about the different prompts and things like that. Use AI to learn at a higher rate. Your mind is a muscle just like your bicep. If I stop lifting anything with my bicep, what happens to my bicep? It shrinks, it dissolves, it weakens. What happens if I don't use my mind to do anything that I find to be difficult and complex? It shrinks, it dissolves, it weakens. Do you sort of get it? Intelligence, okay, me being a smart person, is not something I'm born with. Do you sort of get it? Intelligence is memory retention and aptitude. What is aptitude? Aptitude is how quickly or how efficiently or the fluidity that my mind can move from one topic to another. If I don't force my mind to learn all different sorts of things, my mind finds it very, very difficult to comprehend or even intellectualize different things. Aptitude is the ability of forcing yourself to do multiple things. So if we think about it like building muscles and working out, if I only ever do bicep curls and I don't ever do squats, I don't ever do bench press, I can have the biggest biceps and think I'm, King Dick shit on the hill all I want. And then as soon as I try and go and do bench press, if I have not developed those muscles are weak. I won't be able to put any weight on them. I won't be able to do it for long. So just realize The more you push yourself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a, if you're a company owner as well, like the more you push yourself to do more, the more you push your staff to do more and sort of confront the uncomfortable feeling of having to learn, the higher the aptitude that they will have and the easier it will become to learn. The more the discomfort will go away and they will become comfortable within that. Very important. So that's why we don't want to utilize AI to do everything for us because one, it lowers our intellect, okay? Because I don't need to, if I have AI building websites and doing all my marketing posts and doing this, that, and the other, I don't have to do it. So I don't ever have to increase my memory retention. If I cease increasing my memory retention, my memory decreases. Do you sort of get it? How do we know this? What happens when people retire and they stop actively utilizing their mind? Their mind degrades. When they stop actively using their body degrades. Like it's pretty basic. So the 99% in life that are getting AI to do everything for them in the next 5 years, in the next 2 years, will become significantly stupider. They won't be as creative in their thought. They won't be able to imagine for themselves. They won't be able to see opportunities. And that's what I'm teaching you. Do you sort of get it? So we utilize AI for many things, but AI is a really good companion to understand perception, to understand marketing, to understand branding, to understand everything. So what we want to do is like this. If I show you, here is today's lesson on perceived value over true value. Okay, so I'm making a statement that true value doesn't exist anymore because there is no such thing as market value because the free market ceases to exist because the government has interjected into it, but also it's all perception. For the past 20, 30 years, companies have been indoctrinating through marketing and conditioning specific beliefs around perception to the perception that if something costs more, it's of higher value. Do you sort of get it? So we don't compete on price, we compete on quality. We compete on, you know, our inherent authenticity, not others. And then what I do is I utilize AI to then validate it. Well, not to validate it. I knew it was right when I said it. I knew it was accurate and truthful because over 10,000 hours of analyzing went into understanding that aspect. But we're utilizing it to create the validity. So as a personal development coach or, you know, whatever you want to call it, as a professional development coach, as a business development coach, as a team development coach, as however you want to do it. Okay. It's just me. Okay. But basically, what is the currency that is going to decrease any resistance to a purchase? And what is the currency that's going to increase a buyer to sort of align with me? Truth, honesty. There's so many people out there talking shit and lying about understanding things that the currency that we want to do in branding and marketing is to build a perception or a belief that this person knows what they're talking about. This person always gives me the truth. This person's accurate in what they do. Do you sort of get it? So we're utilizing it to rather than me have to go out there and figure all this out for myself in terms of I already know it, but rather than me have to go out there and say it, I'm now able to implement a third party that is highly trusted. AI doesn't lie. Do you sort of get it? So rather than me have to go out there and have client testimonials, rather than me have to go out there and do case studies, I can have AI validate the message for me. Do you sort of get it? Very important to get this, because when we think about it in terms of marketing and branding, why do you think it's so difficult for people to market? Because they hide the truth. Do you sort of get it? They selectively show you the truth. They don't tell you the truth in everything that they say. So this increases the time it takes for you to discern if they're truthful or not. So if we're trying to create a high level brand and high level marketing in a short period of time, we want transparency, we want radical truth, and we want to build authority. I'm building authority because I didn't just get AI to write this and then I'm putting it up there. I created my own message of my own knowledge, and then I used AI to give me data to prove it. Do you sort of get it? It's a 1-2 punch. So I'm not relying on AI to do the punch. I'm relying on AI to put the power behind my punch. Do you sort of get it? Not to say that I need AI, but like other people think that if I say something, I must be lying because I have a vested interest in the perception I'm creating for myself or in what I'm saying. But if I say something and then I have it backed up by like data, then it becomes more irrefutable. Do you sort of get it? But when we're doing this sort of behavior again and again and again, the first couple of times people will go, oh, yeah, sure, he got lucky. But when we consistently are on point with everything that we say, it just becomes undeniable that should I say something, it's going to be accurate and true. Do you sort of get it? But like an important thing to realize is truth doesn't exist. Truth is not objective, it's subjective. Accuracy is not objective, it's subjective. Do you sort of get it? Like, that's one of the illusions that society seems to believe is that there are objective truths. A philosophical way and a way in reality to understand this is if you don't exist, does truth exist? Do you sort of get it? If I don't exist, does any of this have relevance? Does it exist without me existing to understand and perceive it? No. It's subjective, not objective, because it's reliant on the subject. It's not reliant on the objective, which is the external. Life doesn't really care about perceived value and true value. People care about that. Subjective, not objective. Gravity. If I don't exist, does gravity exist? Yeah, objective. Do you sort of get it? Because it's an object in the natural environment, in the external environment that exists if I don't exist. But now, does gravity exist to me if I don't exist within the external environment? No. So my comprehension of gravity, my understanding of gravity only exists because of my subjective experience of gravity. Do you sort of get it? So like the planets revolve around the sun in the same way if people exist, if people don't exist. You can see it throughout the universe. There are planets that have no population, yet they exist. If there is no population on Earth, does the economy exist? No. The economy is subjective. It is dependent on subjects to validate it within the external environment. Do you sort of get it? Without people, the economy ceases to be. Now think about the ecosystem, nature. Okay. So Without people, does nature exist? Yes. Now, without animals, insects, and all of that, does nature exist? No. So our perception of reality is subjective, not objective. If there are no trees, if there is no oxygen, if there is no, ozone layer, does life exist? No. Do you sort of get it? Look at Mars, look at Venus, look at Jupiter, look at Saturn. Like, do you sort of get it? Without the ecosystem or all those participating in the ecosystem ceases to be. So the ecosystem is not an objective truth, it's a subjective truth. That should there be no ants, what happens to the ecosystem? Does it fall down and crumble? Or is it upheld by the other animals? How many animals or species do I have to remove from the ecosystem for the ecosystem to collapse? Do you sort of get it? Because the ecosystem doesn't stand alone on its own. Now, gravity. If there's a star and a planet, the planet revolves around the star. Do you sort of get it? The only way to remove it would be to remove the point of gravity. But then if you remove the star, then the planet becomes the point of gravity. Do you sort of get it? Very important to understand this. All objective truths become subjective if you were to remove one aspect of them. So they only exist objectively if they remain the same. Now, it's not to say that the laws and principles of gravity cease to be. Gravity is gravity. Do you sort of get it? It will always work within the sort of substance of like the truth behind it. Do you sort of get it? If I have a larger star than our star, it doesn't emit a weaker gravitational field, doesn't have weaker gravitational pull. If I have a larger star than our star, the gravitational pull is increased because it's more mass in gravity. Do you sort of get it? So, like, the ecosystem is an objective truth that should there be plant fauna, animals, oxygen, insects, all of that, it will create a self-sustaining ecosystem. But if there is none of that, the ecosystem doesn't exist, i.e., we don't say that Mars has an ecosystem. Do you sort of get it? So we just understand this as being, while truths can be objective, i.e., in the marketplace, okay, if you have a free market, what happens is you basically have what is called like supply and demand equal market equilibrium. That is true value. Do you sort of get it? True value is the market equilibrium. Once we introduce new elements to it, like, for example, psychological conditioning, manipulation, government intervention, the fiat economy, where it ceases to be a real economy and it becomes a economy of simple numbers, where it's not based out of reality. So, for example, a real, true economy is run off of materials, goods, and services, i.e., the currency is gold, silver, copper, whatever is of value, something real and tangible. When I create paper and say this paper is worth 100 gold, like, what is the paper worth? Can I go and take that paper anywhere? Do you sort of get it? It only exists in that value within the ecosystem where it is agreed upon. So we don't have a market or a free market anymore. We have a fiat market. where the agreement of the value becomes the value. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important to understand this when we're doing branding and marketing and sales. Like, what are we creating? What narrative are we creating? What are we achieving? What do we need to achieve to be successful in your business, in your, product or service, like however you want to see it? Like, we're going to assume business and we're just going to assume everyone's running a business. If you're running a company and you want to argue that a company is different to a business, good for you. It's the exact same. Do you sort of get it? A business requires an individual to be the lever, the lever of accountability. Do you sort of get it? Like, a person is liable for a business. A company is an individual within its own. Still a business. It's just it has limited liability. That's the difference. So we're not arguing the difference between corporate structures and business structures. So we're understanding in your business, what are you trying to accomplish and achieve? Should I be a plumbing business, XYZ plumbing? Well, I want people to know I am, you know, trustworthy, honest, or truthful. I want to build authority. I want to build credibility. I want to overcome or use my marketing and branding to overcome any perceptions or negative perceptions, any sort of objections a potential buyer might have. So, for example, for me, a potential buyer might say he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have, 20 years of being in the marketplace, so therefore he doesn't have authority and credibility. Bullshit. My authority is my word. And that is the strategy that I have been running, and that is the strategy that I have successfully run. That you cannot question my word, because as you run through my social media feed, you will just see me prove that my word is truth time and time and time and time again. Do you sort of get it? So we can react to it where I'm reacting to overcome a buyer's perceived fear or perceived objection in the sales process, or I can head it off and overcome it throughout my course of branding and marketing. Do you sort of get it? So that's what I do. I actively overcome consistently all things that hold back a buyer, but I do it in a way where it's authentic. So I'm not just using AI to overcome people's perceived fears. I am creating my own stance, my authentic expression of what it is, and then I'm utilizing AI as a third party, unbiased, you know, like I have my hesitations that I think AI just tells you what you want it to you want to hear. But I don't know, because AI doesn't argue with me. It rarely tells me that I'm wrong, and every time it tells me that I'm wrong, it's not that I'm wrong, it's that it's wrong. And that's not from an ego standpoint, that's from the standpoint that it's going off bad data, the 99% data. Do you sort of get it? Because truth is subjective, not objective. So the 99% would say providing value to a customer is having low prices and offering more services. But in truth, throughout historical accounts, providing value to a customer is having higher prices because the customer perceives the value to be higher. So, which is right? The majority's belief that value is low prices and, you know, quality products, because at low prices they are quality products. So it's like this. For example, you take a smartphone, right? The cost of goods or the market value of that smartphone is about $100. That's the material cost, that's the software cost. So if it's costing $1,600 to $1,800 for a smartphone in the store, where is the market value? Where is the market equilibrium value? Do you sort of get it? It's not there. Because yeah, maybe you could argue that it's $300 for this phone, not $1,600 for the phone. And that's market value. But in truth, they sell it at $1,600. Like, why is that? Because it's all perception. Should a product be more expensive, it's perceived to be of more value than a product that is cheaper. Do you sort of get it? So we just understand, okay? We don't want to be reliant on AI, but AI can be utilized as an unbiased sort of element within our business to build our authority along with client testimonials, along with, different formats of creating authentic, trustworthy communication. So we don't want to be hiding behind, for example, we don't want to be hiding behind like illusions. We don't want to be pretending to be someone we're not and making someone guess who we are. That's why I just do 100% authenticity and 100% truth. Do you sort of get it? Because that way you don't have to guess who I am, but it means all those people who don't believe in authentic truth and 100% or transparency, well, they get offended by it. Because 100% transparency is me saying, for example, you know, to become the best in sales, you have to develop your mindset. It doesn't happen with a weak mind. If you're not developing your mindset is weak. That's the honest truth. There is no room for interpretation. It's not that your mindset could be weak. Your mindset is weak if you don't invest into it. Do you sort of get it? So, what do I mean by mindset or in sales? If I have expectations of outcomes, but I am unwilling to put in the effort to get them, what is my mindset? Weak. If I'm in sales and every time someone tells me no, my feelings get hurt, what is my mindset? It's weak. Do you sort of get it? So it's not that like I'm saying this to disempower people, but it's basically that either you have developed your mindset or you haven't developed your mindset. There's no in between. Now, that's not to say that you can't have half developed your mindset. Many people have. But it's to say that either you're actively developing your mindset to become the best, or you're not actively developing your mindset to become the best. Do you sort of get it? It's true. It's not true. Do you sort of get it? It depends on the subjective view of the audience member or the consumer or, you know, the buyer, the potential buyer, and what they believe. Because if they believe that they don't have to work on their mind to be the best, they're going to see that and say, I don't have a weak mind. I don't need to invest into my mind. And they will see it as being false. But this is where we get into the gray in terms of like, if I live in illusions and I convince myself of lies, anything becomes true to me. Do you sort of get it? So you can see it throughout history, right? Killing is a sin. Killing someone in combat is not a sin. Like, killing is killing, doesn't really matter who it's for. Do you sort of get it? So the way it works out in truth is killing for someone else's like belief is negative. Killing for your own belief is positive. Not to say that killing is right, but it's if I can justify defending my life and having to take someone else's life because I had to spare, I had to survive, then it becomes more morally acceptable. But if I'm killing someone for a reason external to that, then it becomes negative. Do you sort of get it? So if I go out and kill someone because I want their car, or I want to, take their life because I want their car, or I want their watch, or I want their money, well, that's seen as negative because my life was never in danger. They weren't threatening me. If someone's running at me with a knife, threatening to, take my life, then me defending myself to the nth degree is acceptable. Do you sort of get it? It's morally okay because it's in self-defense, not predatory behavior. So we just start to understand that it comes down to the subjective view of the audience member to how they're going to interpret your brand, your truth. So it's not about it's not to say that we're not factual because it's factual. It's factual. You like if I develop my muscles, they are strong. If I don't develop my muscles, they are weak. Do you sort of get it? Like, it's logically correct. Subjectively, it can be interpreted in a multitude of ways. So just understand that branding is not about political correct. Branding is not about being accurate and truthful to everyone. It's your truth, your company's truth, your brand's truth, your business's truth. So if your business values are honesty, hard work, quality and all of that, well, hard work, quality and honesty are truth to you. So if you're saying something about quality that if you pay for high quality, you're a smarter buyer than if you pay for low quality, like that's not untruthful. You're being honest and truthful because evidently you can show that should you buy lower quality parts, i.e., if we're XYZ plumbing and we're buying secondhand or all of our plumbing gear off Temu and it's thinner diameter of piping, well, evidently it's going to break at a higher rate. Do you sort of get it? So it's not that we're not about truth, but it's that we're not concerned if someone disagrees with our truth. If someone chooses to believe that, quality products, quality services, if they choose to say, well, I don't believe that is what quality is, that's great. Truth is subjective, not objective. So we want to build our brand and our marketing to be aligned to our subjective truth, our truth, because we're attracting people who are like us, not like the others. Do you sort of get it? And this is where a lot of businesses within the 99% population, the herd, go wrong. They're trying to do the subjective truth of what everyone in the 99% says is true, but not their truth. So they're fake because the truth they present doesn't align to their truth internally. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important to understand this. So we just understand when we're doing this, when we're building out our brand, when we're building out our marketing, when we're building out our sales, it's irrelevant what other people think. We don't have to care what the marketplace says about pricing unless we're competing on price. If we're competing on quality, all we care about is the quality of the workmanship, the quality of the action of what we're doing. Do you sort of get it? Like it's pretty easy to see. And what we see is that the more entrenched we become in our belief, and an important thing to realize about branding is you cannot brand yourself without being polarizing. It doesn't happen. Like you cannot market or brand yourself without being polarizing. If you try to do it politically correctly and align to everyone, you're aligning to no one. Do you sort of get it? Those people that try to be everyone's friend and don't tell you who they are, like no one wants to be around them. Look back on your own life. What did you think about the people who were trying to be mates with everyone, even if even if it went against what they said? And if they said, I like the Broncos, or you know, I like football, and then someone said, I don't like football, I like soccer, and they say, yeah, I really enjoy soccer more than football. Like they're two-faced. Do you sort of get it? So we just really understand that polarization is just a fact of marketing and branding. So to really utilize this, we're not polarizing ourselves, like Donald Trump by calling Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig or whatever he called her. Like, that's not like that is polarizing, but that is using offense to manipulate. So we don't want to do that in that context. But we want to be polarizing to where if I say that, we have the highest quality services, and then someone says, no, you don't, I say, good for you, we do. Like, what do you know? Like, I'm not gonna turn around and say, oh, you're right, we don't. I'm gonna stand my ground. So, like, for example, I believe in truth, I believe in transparency, I just believe in being blunt. If people don't like how blunt I am, great. I also have dyslexia, so I don't really care about grammar. So when someone tries to correct my grammar, I say, good for you, whatever. I don't care. It's not important to me because I'm not trying to be an English school teacher. Do you sort of get it? Like punctuation and grammar isn't really relevant to business. Now in corporate, they'll try and argue that it is, and that's why they're just full of shit. Do you know what I mean? Because corporate isn't as effective as small business, as independent business. Why? Because corporate is full of manipulation. Like all companies use it, like especially larger companies. They're predominant on very, very unethical business practices to increase their margins because typically what they do is they lower their margins that low to try and outcompete everyone else in the marketplace. And then what they do is they use very, very questionable practices to try and, you know, for example, there were builders that did first home buyers and they had an external sales team that was internally paid by them. They had external brokers that were internally hired by them. So basically, they built the house and they, you know, did the lowest quality house, but tried to put the price up higher. The banks would come out and they would devalue it in terms of their valuation of the house and land package would be $20,000, $30,000 under it. And then basically they would be passed on to the financial organization that was doing the finance for the applicant, and then they would write them a personal loan to make up the gap rather than lose the sale. So you get people who get a lower quality product, and it's Metricon. That's who did it in Australia. Joy Home Loans or Joy Finance was their finance broker. Do you sort of get it? They used to screw the first home buyers to where they had an overpriced product that was valued at less by the banks, so they couldn't go out and sell it at the price that they paid for it. And then they also had a hefty personal loan of sometimes 20, 30, 40, 60, $80,000 at higher interest rates. Do you sort of get it? Don't be like Metricon. They were fucking idiots. So just understand, like, The corporate will try and argue all this bullshit, but they're the ones that do a lot of the really unethical shit. So we just realize we don't do that. We don't act like corporate and try and ruin people's lives just to make a dollar. When we're talking about building a business, when we're talking about entrepreneurship, we're talking about providing immense value to clients, but we're not using manipulative strategies to build that value. You sort of get it? We're not overcharging for a product and then forcing the buyer to buy the product through contracts because we're not, you know, because usually we're legally locked into a contract when we get to the stage of valuations and new home and land builds. So we just understand that like the 99% will try and tell you that everything's important, but just realize behind the curtains, they're doing all sorts of dodgy shit. They all do it. For example, there's marketing companies at the moment that you'll be seeing that basically they'll tell you they're experts in marketing and they're just using AI to do the marketing for them. Do you sort of get it? Like everyone will tell you that they're an expert these days if you have put in the effort to master it. Do you know what I mean? That's why I broadcast what they do because like it's pretty funny, but it makes it easier to compete, even though I don't compete against them because when we understand the difference in business, if I want to compete on price, I'm competing with everyone. If I compete on quality, I'm competing on, with those who compete on quality. If I elevate above that to compete on truth and honesty and authenticity, well, now there is no one competing with me because no one can be as authentic as me, as myself. Do you sort of get it? So it's not to say other people can't be authentic, but their authenticity will be different to your authenticity. Their values will be different to your values. That's why we don't just use Google to decide what our company values are. We reflect our company values or our business values based on us because it makes it impossible to compete with because no one else has their company values or their business values as mastery, effort, action, and respect. They don't do that. Why? Because those are just my personal beliefs that are important to me. So with that, we're jumping on to the next aspect where we're going to have a look at the sales funnel. So we get them to click over through our branding and marketing, and now they're landing on a sales funnel. Now, in the 99%, if you're selling to the 99%, they'll tell you all different things about how you should be, structuring and doing your marketing and things like that. Like, for example, we're going to do a breakdown, but basically, I have a picture of a valley that I took that I like. Do you sort of get it? Like, this is my website. I like that photo. I don't really care if you like that photo or not. I like it because this website or this sales funnel represents me, not you. Do you sort of get it? But majority in business are creating stock images because that's what Google wants to see. Who cares what Google wants to see? Do you know what I mean? Like no one else can have this photo there because they wouldn't do it because it's not appropriately sized. Who cares? Like it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the illusion. Everyone thinks that the showmanship of business, that the showmanship of sales, that the showmanship of marketing is everything. My man, if you're doing illusions, that's just illusions. Do you sort of get it? Like, do you think magicians are real? Do you think magic is real when someone does a card trick? No, it's all an illusion. So it's like this idea that the majority in business have all agreed that the illusion is what is real, what is professional. It's not. Professionals being able to communicate and convey value in every word that you say, being able to educate, being able to provide value, having honest intentions. Do you sort of get it? So basically, jumping in, we always want to have a video. Do you sort of get it? But most people want a video that's 2 to 3 minutes because 2 to 3 minutes is all the attention that they have. Well, mine's 30 minutes because, like, I'm not convincing you to pay 10 grand. Do you sort of get it? Like, I'm not trying to manipulate you into paying 10 grand. 10 grand is the price. I'm not negotiating on the price. So I educate you through the 30-minute video of why the price is the price. Do you sort of get it? Rather than putting up a 2-minute interview or a 2-minute video to get you to fill out this form and then I'm going to do everything over phone. Do you sort of get it? So like in the 99% marketing funnel, they limit all the information at the front to try and expand how many people they can bring in. And then what they do is they dramatically expand their sales cycle or their sales process to having a bunch of shit leads in there. Marketing and branding is more about magnetizing and qualifying than it is about attracting attention. I want people to fill out this form who understand I'm not here to sell you. I'm not here to convince you of the value of this program. Like, it's either if you don't see the value of the program, it's because you cannot, or you choose not to see it. Like, if you cannot see the value of the program that is on offer on this, my Reprogramming Your Mind 12-month program, then evidently it's not for you. If you're choosing not to see the value in the hopes of me convincing you, evidently it's not the right program for you. Because if I have to convince you of the value, like, why would I give it to you? Do you sort of get it? Like, I've spent years working for companies where I had to chase and waste all my time trying to utilize psychological manipulation and high pressure tactics in sales to try and convince buyers and make them make decisions. And guess what happened? You have higher churn rates. You know what I mean? So rather than doing that, I front load the front of my marketing and my sales process to be the qualifier, to where for you to talk to me, you have to be a qualified buyer because I'm not wasting my time talking to unqualified buyers because of the price points. So when we're doing high ticket products, high ticket services, we want to have ways that they can communicate to us should they have questions, should they like more information. We're here to give them information, but we're not here to convince them of the value of the information. Do you sort of get it? So when a client request more information, I'll talk to them for 10 hours if need be to explain everything. But I'm not convincing them of the value of it. They have to see it. Because if they see the value of it, the likelihood that they back out of the sale is very, very low. If I convince them of the value of it, the second they pay for it, doubt creeps into their mind. Why did I do this? Do you sort of get it? But the other thing is, if I'm trying to convince you of the value, I'm trying to compete with everyone else. If you're coming to me saying, I see the value in your product, well, then we're not competing, are we? So we just realize the 99% load up the back end of their sales process, okay, or their sales cycle to be the qualifier. So they waste a lot of their direct time qualifying in or out, chasing people, blah, blah, blah. Whereas when we're doing quality, when we're doing high ticket offers, we want the front end to be the qualifier so that the only people that reach the back end are high quality, high value, like highly qualified, like clients that are engaged. Do you sort of get it? Like, for example, if I'm selling the base level house and land package, or if I'm selling a multi-million dollar exclusive house and land package, designer package, like who do I want to spend the majority of my time chasing? Do I want to be wasting all my time chasing people who aren't buyers trying to make them buyers? Do I want to be trying to convince people why it's important to spend multi-million dollar on house and land opposed to going and buying cheap shit? Do you sort of get it? So we just understand that we're not doing it the way that the 99% say, because the 99% are just after short-term gains. We want long-term gains. So I'm not building out a sales funnel just to try and get as many names and numbers, because what's the point of that? If they're not willing to purchase, like I could just go and cold call people. Do you sort of get it? So I only want to be dealing with people who are willing to purchase, who have the capacity to purchase. That's why we don't hide the price. That's why we make it as easy as possible that should you want to purchase, should you want to purchase the product, like you can pay monthly or you can pay yearly and there, buy the product. Like you don't need me on the phone convincing you to buy the product. Do you sort of get it? Like you can buy the product, like you can make the decision to buy the product. But we want to be focused more on providing the value of like information. So like what is in the program? What is in the course that I offer in the program? Do you sort of get it? Like what does the program consist of? What knowledge is in there? So we want to give enough information that someone can logically make a decision that in this program, I'm teaching you how to reprogram your mind. I'm offering you my exclusive course that covers a lot of stuff. I'm offering you one-on-one sessions, group sessions that cover a lot of stuff. I am giving you a 3-step guide to creating associational bonds linking emotional states to trigger words. Like to the 99%, they won't understand this, but this is taking a word and then using behavioral condition, okay, or behavioral conditioning and focus to associate emotional states to that word. So should I want to be happy, I pick a word and then I focus on repeating that word, repeating a trigger phase or trigger phrase, and then associating the emotional state of happiness to that. It's very simple, but not many people can do it. Do you sort of get it? And I have the process here to give it to you to show you how easy it is to do. So it's sort of like if you understand these two products or these two practices or processes, like you've pretty much got the answers that you seek in life. Do you sort of get it? But most people won't understand that. Do you sort of get it? But what the true value is my time. Do you sort of get it? Me by your side, explaining things in the nth degree. What I also offer is some of my course content to show you different things, how I build self-belief within myself, my thesis on self-validation. This is a program about reprogramming your mind. So these are highly relevant. How to create new beliefs, how to validate yourself. Do you sort of get it? And then we've got my like sort of profile on me explaining who I am. I'm JB, founder of Alpha Wolf Consulting. Like here I'm sharing with you like my why, something very personal to me. Okay, why I push so hard to achieve my goals, and it's not for money. Don't care about money. Don't care about fame. Don't care about power. Don't care about women. Simply put, I seek an honorable death in life. That's why I push hard. That's it. So, like, what I want people to understand is that my motivations are external to what everyone else is saying, in terms of everyone else wants to become rich, they want to become famous, they want power, they want women. I just want to be able to fucking die with honor. But I also want people to understand I'm a very intense person. So when you take on this program, like you have to understand I'm a very intense person. I don't fuck around. Do you sort of get it? So I'm broadcasting through the personal branding within the website about what I do, my values, mastery, effort, action, respect. Do you sort of get it? I show people my reprogramming your mind series and sessions. These are sessions where I actively reprogram my mind. Do you sort of get it? Like, there is enough information on this website that I shouldn't ever have to talk to you prior to you purchasing. Do you sort of get it? Very important to get, because not many people understand this, so they limit the information that they put on their sales funnel because they want to get more people to come through, because the people don't really know what's going on. Do you sort of get it? Whereas when we're doing high ticket like offers, I want to limit the amount of people coming through and sort of showing prospective engagement, and I want to maximize the amount of people purchasing. Do you sort of get it? But I also want to have all different ways that someone can contact me so that they're able to ask questions and things like that. It's why I say I will not be justifying the worth of these programs to you. If you don't see it or you choose not to see it, it's not the program for you. Do you sort of get it? Because if all of this information that I've presented, okay, is not enough for you to understand what I'm saying and what I'm offering, this ain't the program for you. Because if I have to convince you of why this is the program for you, I'm going to have to convince you the entire program of why every action is valid, why it's valuable. Do you sort of get it? I'm creating resistance because I'm pushing in people who shouldn't be in the buyer, who shouldn't be a buyer into the process. So I'm limiting any resistance I'm going to have throughout doing the process by stating to people like, this is a highly exclusive program only for those who want what is being offered. You have to want it. Like, I'm not selling you this pen. If I got the pen and you want it and you want to buy it from me, I'll sell it to you. But I'm not selling you the pen because, like, I don't want to waste my time. Do you sort of get it? That's the thing. I'm not convincing you of the value of the pen and saying, you need this pen. I'll ask you, do you want the pen? And your answer will tell me if I should talk to you and educate you about the pen, or if I should just spend my time talking to myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very important because not many people really grasp this understanding that if I'm doing low ticket products, so a $20, a $20 product, Yeah, I'll waste more time convincing people of it because there's lower risk. Do you sort of get it? If I'm selling a higher ticket product, like a $10,000 12-month program or $1,000 a month program, like I'm not wasting my time convincing you because if you buy a $20 product and you don't like it, it's no stress. You're at $20. It doesn't really matter. Do you sort of get it? If I buy a meal for $20 and it sucks, like, yeah, I probably wouldn't go there again, but it's not the end of my world. But if I spend $10,000 on a meal and it sucks, like, do you sort of get it? I now have a higher risk. So fiduciary responsibility and obligation is that if I'm asking for a high ticket program, I have to do my due diligence to make sure I'm not pushing you into it. Why? Because it could have repercussions on your financial position, but it also could affect your mental state. So, as a sales person, as a master of sales, as an expert in sales, like I have a responsibility to you that even though I know how to convince you to get you to purchase, even though I could manipulate you to purchase, I shouldn't do that because there can be lasting effects because like there is serious consequences to negative outcomes. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important to understand this because this is the like marketing, sales, two sides of the same coin. Do you sort of get it? Branding, marketing, two sides of the same coin. Branding, sales, two sides of the same coin. It's all the same. So I wouldn't be pushing you to this sales funnel with authentic marketing, well, with authentic marketing and branding, and then basically you get on here and I'm just convinced. Do you sort of get it? That would be an illusion. So it's like if I wanted to convince you to purchase, so say I'm selling a $10 thing and I'm saying this is the best sandwich you're going to buy for $10. Like in my marketing, I'm convincing. In my funnel, I'm convincing. Do you sort of get it? Because I'm selling something for $10. An amateur can do that. Do you sort of get it? Who I'm talking to, the decision making isn't really that important. I could say it tastes good, but it's only $10. It's no risk to you. If it tastes like shit, you're only at $10, mate. Like what? $10 isn't going to break your bank, is it? You're not that poor, are you? Do you sort of see manipulation? Do you see convincing? This is what they do. So just realize, like, dependent on your sales strategy, your product or service, like, are you a high ticket product? So over $1,000? Or you could argue that a high ticket product is over like $200 or $300. Depends. Do you know what I mean? A $200 or $300 house or home and land package would be seen as a low ticket offer. An $80,000 house and land package would be seen as a low ticket offer in comparison to a $2 or $3 million property. You sort of get it? So it depends on the market and the industry. When we say low ticket and high ticket, it is the determining factor between in this selected buyer, i.e., if people are purchasing a house, the expectation would be around $300,000 to $500,000 as being the medium for a house and land package. So, like, with the expectation of $500,000, if we just put that as the median, a $200,000 property would be a low ticket offer in comparison because there's 300,000 between it. Do you sort of get it? So, like if I'm selling mobile phones and I've got a $1,600 mobile phone and a $99 mobile phone, the $99 mobile phone is a low ticket offer. A $400 mobile phone is a low ticket offer. A $500 phone is a low ticket offer in comparison. Do you sort of get it? So like high ticket, low ticket isn't dependent on the price. It's dependent on the price relative to the expectation. So should I be selling a $1,600 phone or a $10,000 gold-plated phone? That's solid gold casing and all of that. Like, do you sort of get it? Like the $10,000 is going to be far more high ticket than the 1,600. If I'm selling a phone at $4,000, like it's going to be a high ticket offer. Do you sort of get it? It's wherever market expectation is for the median. And then above that becomes high ticket, below that becomes low ticket. Because if I'm selling a phone for $1,600 and every other phone in that range is $1,600, am I selling a high ticket product? If the marketplace or the average buyer expects to pay $1,600 for this product, is it low ticket or high ticket? If I'm selling sandwiches and the average median price of sandwiches is $20, is that a high or a low ticket product? If the market is expecting to pay $20 for a sandwich, am I selling a high ticket sandwich at $18? No. If the market average is willing to pay $4 for a sandwich and I'm selling a sandwich at $18, that's a high ticket product. Do you sort of get it? So it just works on where the market average or expectation for it is, i.e., the market average for a program for $10,000 for a 12-month program is not a high ticket offer. It's high ticket in relation to what other people offer, but essentially it's not a high ticket offer because if I was, to do this program at $100,000, that would be a high ticket offer. Do you know what I mean? So it's high ticket in the aspect of $10,000 is quite a strong decision making. Like it requires a bit of not understanding, but it requires a fair bit of decision making for it. But in comparison, for example, Tony Robbins more than likely has $100,000 programs. Do you know what I mean? Like Jordan Belford, even though it's not the same, but like, do you know what I mean? So like in the marketplace, it's not a high ticket offer because some people charge $100,000 an hour. Do you know what I mean? Some people charge $1 million for a product. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's not like so much to say, but to make a decision to spend $10,000 in a year is quite a decision. Even though on low ticket products like fast food and takeaway, people will generally spend between $15,000 to $20,000 a year. So, like for example, it doesn't take much decision making to go out and get a pizza. So it's the consistency of the low ticket products that lead up to it. So there are many different ways that we can sort of argue it down to being a low ticket or a market average product. But in comparison to other programs for what is being offered, which is 12 sessions, lifetime access to group sessions, access to recorded sessions, you become a part of the tribe, you get exclusive offers and bonuses. So you get exclusive prices on all offers, bonuses, programs, and events. Once you're a part of it, you get the reprogramming your mind, recreating your course, or recreating your reality course, which has over 140 hours of specialized lectures in it. So like this would be a market average, so to speak. But for the perception of the majority, it is a high ticket offer. Do you sort of get it? Like when you get lifetime access to group sessions, one a week, like $10,000 for the next 30 years isn't really that expensive. Do you sort of get it? When you get lifetime access to all the different like iterations of my reprogramming your mind course, like this is the first iteration. Like as I expand to it, people who have purchased get access to the latest version. Do you sort of get it? So it's not that a high ticket, but in the perception of someone being willing to spend money on a personal development program or course, $10,000 is high ticket because most people try and sell it for 100, 200, $300. Do you sort of get it? All right. Well, that finishes off this session for today, and we will continue on tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye.